Barry, Tesler, and Aronovitz are the exclusive providers of the R-TAS robotic-assisted hair transplantation procedure. And you don't have to go far. It's right here in Metro Detroit. With the R-TAS technology, Dr. Ali Berry could restore your hair in a minimally invasive procedure, giving you the thickness you want and the hairline you like. And it requires no stitches, leaves no linear scar, it has a quick recovery, and, most importantly, the results are natural looking. Oh, and Dr. Berry personally meets with all of his patients. He'll give you honest and realistic options and recommendations to restore your hair. The procedure is called R-TAS. It's state-of-the-art, and it works for both men and women. So give Doctors Berry, Tesler, and Aronovitz a call at 248-353-1117 or online at mihairdoc.com.
There are times when it's hard to ignore that you may have a gambling problem. Like when you're at the casino and you've withdrawn the maximum amount from your ATM.
Withdrawal denied.
When you can't leave the tables, yet you don't know how you're going to put food on the table.
Credit card denied.
When you can't seem to pump the brakes on gaming and then can't fill up your gas tank.
Transaction denied.
When you're so invested in gambling, you're not able to invest in your future. You're robbing yourself and those you love of a better life.
Approval denied.
Don't deny there's a problem any longer. If you or someone you love is struggling with a gambling problem, we can help you win your life back. For free confidential help, call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117 or visit michigan.gov/problemgambling. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Gentlemen, facing a divorce can be difficult, but you're not alone. Adam, the American Divorce Association for Men, is here to help. Call Adam today at 248-356-2326 and we can answer your questions or schedule a meeting by phone or video chat. Call Adam today.
The Detroit Tigers host the Chicago Cubs. Pre-game tonight at 6:45 on 97.1 The Ticket. You're listening to the best of the morning show on 97.1 The Ticket.
248-539-9797, The Morning Show here. I'll do it right this time. I'm Jeff. We have Heather and Tom as well. And in case you missed it, you have no idea what you missed. Luka Doncic plays for the Mavs. It was game 4 of their best-of-7 series, and Doncic went freaking off. And before we get to the stat line, which is unbelievable, or how he won the game, which is truly unbelievable as well, it started on Friday night when they were playing game 3 of the series. And Montrezl Harrell, who plays for the Clippers, hit a little jumper and then was backtracking on midcourt and called Luka Doncic an expletive white boy. I can say it, right? He called him a B-ass white boy. I think you know what I'm talking about. So, of course, that was the controversy of Saturday. And everybody was talking about how could you use those words when, of course, the NBA is doing what they're doing to try to help, obviously, with what's going on in our country. And on Saturday, we heard that. On Sunday, Luka Doncic went out and called out. And he traded up for, rather, right?
I would have to look it up to make sure.
Mistaken.
Doesn't really matter.
Yes, and then they go out, they trade for Porzingis, and they are going to be a force for quite some time. But if you talk about man crushes, mine is also in the NBA and not in the bubble. Mine's Trae Young for the Atlanta Hawks. You ever watch him play?
Oh, yeah.
He's freaking unbelievable. He'll jack it up from half court. He'll beat you off the dribble. I wanted the Pistons to take it so bad. Now, of course, they never had a shot to take it, unless they decided to take. And then maybe they would have had a shot, but then they're lucky to lose in the lottery anyhow, so not like it matters anyhow. But Trae Young is probably...
Yeah, no, and he's a good player. To me, his versatility is crazy. Like, he's not quite the athlete that LeBron is, but you can see a lot of the things he does, and I think he's a better facilitator. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, he's 21. I just think it's
getting better.
Right. This is Stephen A. Smith tweeting. Says, not that I had much reservation about Luka to begin with, but it's officially over now. On one ankle, this brother has 40, 17, and 13. I'm done. I have nothing else to say other than this brother is the truth. That's awesome.
But see, I kind of feel like we knew about Luka, and you are right. Obviously, people don't watch as much as maybe we watch, but I feel like you knew Luka Doncic was a stud regardless, and you took getting Porzingis, I feel, for them to take that next level. But it's funny because Trae Young and Doncic were traded for a century. Going back to the 2018 draft, Luka Doncic was 3, taken by Atlanta. Trae Young was 5, taken by Dallas. And they essentially swapped and traded. And if you ask Atlanta, would they rather have Doncic right now than Trae Young? I don't know what they would say. But they're both really good players. But you're right. I mean, Doncic seems like eventually, if not by the end of this postseason, he has taken over the NBA as one of the greatest players out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I know you said your man crush is young, but if you had that pick all over again, who you taking? I don't even think it's close. I would take Doncic in a heartbeat.
I mean, I probably would too. Man, do I like Trae Young. I like the swagger. I like the way he plays. He can assist as well. I like the fearlessness of his game. I hear you. They're both really good players.
I mean, just the fact that Porzingis is out yesterday, and then you don't even know if he's playing. He's a game-time decision, and I don't think the ankle was as bad. I don't want to make this like, look, his ankle wasn't Isaiah Thomas's ankle from the 88 finals. I mean,
they thought tendons were torn, and then they took an MRI. He was fine.
Yeah, so let's not make that more legendary than it needs to be. But
however, real quick, it is tough to play in a bad ankle. I mean, that's one of those injuries it's very difficult to play on. But go on.
No, I agree, and it was less than 48 hours, and he's out there. I'm not trying to discredit, but I don't want to make the injuries. This is like some Wes Unseld moment or whatever, where the greatest playing through pain performances, but the actual performance itself. 43 points, a massive triple-double, not a cheap triple-double. It's just in that moment to square that series. And to me, it's been my favorite series to watch in the playoffs. And I do think the backbone of the Clippers and Kawhi is going to end up winning it. But, he gave them life. And now it's a 3-game series. And in this bubble where there's not a home court advantage, they might have a shot. And for them to knock off Kawhi and at this stage in his career, it's premature. But that game yesterday was premature. It's like there's no stopping this guy right now.
248-539-9797. Looking for your sports, man. What you got? 97 on the ticket.
Happen in Detroit sports. You hear it first on Detroit's #1 sports station, 97.1 The Ticket. Breaking news powered by Radio.com Sports and brought to you by Pennzoil. Motor oils from natural gas. The proof is in the Pennzoil. WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit.
4 runs and 5 hits over 3 1/3 innings. Afterwards, Mize talked with reporters about his outing.
Pretty poor performance. Hate that I couldn't go longer than 3.1, and thought our team is in a position to win. Just something to learn upon and build on this week in preparation for next time out.
Crispin Stewart led the Tiger offensive attack in the loss with the 2-run homer in the 7th inning. After an off day Monday, the Lions will be headed back to the practice fields in Allen Park today for the start of another week of training camp. A statement that was issued yesterday, Michigan's Juwan Howard says he is not exploring, seeking, or listening to potential NBA head coaching openings. Howard's statement would come just hours after ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski mentioned that Howard's name is gaining traction with some NBA team officials looking to hire new head coaches this offseason. In the NBA playoffs yesterday, the Lakers beat Portland 135-115. Miami sweeps past Indiana 99-87. Oklahoma City thunders past Houston 117-114. Milwaukee defeats Orlando 121-106. Over in the Stanley Cup playoffs last night, Dallas downs Calgary 5-2. The New York Islanders shut out Philadelphia 4-0. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. Stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com. Well, good morning, everybody. 6:03. It's the morning show with Heather, Tom, Jeff, Stoney back on Monday. Tigers was yesterday 9-3, and you heard Tony say Blazers are a fraud, as I knew they would be. And today we get to see the Mavs play again. Maybe they got 3 games to 2 on the Clippers. What's going on, guys?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Hey, guys. Good morning.
I gotta tell you, I settled in last night. I did. Yeah, waking up this early. I told my wife and my kid, I'm going upstairs to watch Casey Mize. Had a nice, beautiful bowl of pasta. Had a very refreshing glass of Propel. And Casey got through the first inning, and I almost did a little fist pump. I'm like, all right, we got some sports. This is exciting. By the second inning, I turned it off and turned on the NBA.
Yeah, he is very similar to the first outing, I thought. And he hung that one that was a home run. That thing was just sitting there, just like licking your chops to knock it out of there. That's the problem with both him and Scooble right now. They're hanging some pitches, and it's a learning curve. I think they've both been a little bit better in their second starts, but you haven't seen a dominance either that you would like to see. It's early.
So I looked it up because the guy everybody compares him to is Justin Verlander. Now that's fair. It's not fair, obviously. However, Verlander through 2 starts in 05 stunk. He had like a 7 ERA. Then he came back the next year, and I think one of his first 2 games, 7 innings of 2 hits. And then, of course, he went up and down, up and down, up and down his entire rookie year. And Leland made the mistake to start him in Game 5 of the World Series. But, who's trudging up that history? But I thought yesterday, Mize started off with a good game plan. I thought in the second inning, he flat out just lost control. I thought his splitter, which is his out pitch, fooled absolutely nobody because he had no control over anything else. So I think that was the issue. And I think you're right. It's going to take some time, obviously. The problem is, when you get a guy that you clamor for such a long time, like Tiger fans have, really starved Tiger fans, I mean, we are probably overcritical of what he does. And the fact that he lasted 3 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 76 pitches, you get a lot of people saying, I don't get it. What's all the hype about? That's not fair either.
No, absolutely not. And just remember, the 2 teams he's faced are 2 of the better hitting teams in baseball. The Cubs, I heard him say last night, no team sees more pitches than the Cubs. So they're working the count. He's not going to get anything easy, It's unfair to jump on either one of these guys too soon. We're clamoring so much for this baseball team to have somebody that gives us a reason to have some significant hope. And what you said about Verlander is absolutely right. It's ridiculous to expect it right now, but we want it. We're greedy.
I want it.
We need it bad, and it just, just wish. It just goes back to this team. I'm so frustrated with their hitting. It'd be nice for the hitting to bail this team out. Sometime. I mean, I heard Tony in his update. Kristen Stewart led the Tigers' offensive attack.
He did.
That was an attack.
Jack.
3 runs and you happen to finally get a home run, even though you can't hit 200. I mean,
he's hitting 158.
Yeah.
158. Listen, there's a lot of guys that obviously aren't part of the plan. Now, we thought Kristen Stewart was going to be part of the plan. I'll also point out, which nobody has, that it's not like the defense helped out Mines by any means. I mean, there were a couple of plays in the 4th inning, 3rd inning too, that should have been made, but flat out were not. And that's part of a young team that's trying to figure it out. Your boy Miggy got a hit yesterday too, Tom. So that's 2 games in a row. That's 2-game hitting streak for Miguel Cabrera. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's just awesome. I think he's going to end up hitting 335 this year. No, you were talking about the defense. The play that bothered me last night was the Candelario play at first. You know, you have to make that play. And it's a hard play where he jumped up, caught the ball, glove comes down on the helmet, and then the ball pops out. I mean, was this Little League? You know, you got to secure that ball. And I was bothered by a play he made in Cleveland, too, this weekend, where he didn't come off the bag. And he's learning over there. I get it. But, you know, when you got a young pitcher out there, you got to step up. You know, like I said, offensively, go put 4 runs on the board in the 1st inning.
Yeah, Tom, the thing with me is, and this isn't necessarily fair, but when you look at a team that has struggled year in and year out, and then go down the line, I mean, who on this lineup is a long mainstay? Tell me. Scope is gone maybe at the deadline. Cabrera, we talked about him yesterday. Candelario, I mean, he's improved the average, the power. He probably sticks around. Goodrum, what, utility player at the best? Jones goes ups and downs. I mean, again, I think he's a utility guy. Kristen Stewart, I don't know if he's got a place in this league, for crying out loud. And Austin Romine's going to be gone next year. So it's like, who are you really counting on? Like, it's exciting to hear about Mize and Skubal and Manning and eventually Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson. I just really wonder how in God's name this team's going to make a leap in a couple of years to be competitive. Look at the White Sox. The White Sox have a player at every position. Now, some of those players, it took a little bit to get going, but now you look at that offense, you see the plan, it's working. Here in Detroit, it still seems so far from working. And yeah, we get excited over the prospects. I get it. That's what you do in baseball. But it just seems like such a far trek from where we are right now.
Right. There's absolutely zero depth in the organization when it comes to hitting and fielding positions. I mean, you look at the White Sox. I was talking with Kane yesterday off the air. They had Fernando Tatis. They traded him in the James Shields trade back in 2016 to try to contend and get a pitcher. I mean, can you imagine if the Tigers, we could go back just that shortly and you'd have a White Sox type lineup right now, and you traded Tatis Jr. recently. I mean, it's only 4 years ago.
Makes me want to vomit.
I know. It just shows you that they have absolutely nothing to work with to even deal to try to get other prospects. I mean, it's just so bleak.
Though.
I mean,
they did. That's the thing. They did. They had a lot of talent. They had Verlander. They had David Price at one point. They had J.D. Martinez.